Hey, I'm Not So Ace Trainer and Pokémon is for kids? Let's get into it! The simple combination of these words can easily make some Pokémon fans go insane, and it's easy to see why. While most found this franchise when they were young children, they have grown up and don't want to feel like their love for it is misplaced or wrong in any way. I'm one of those fans that grew up with the franchise, and currently at 28 years old, I've heard that phrase quite a bit. It doesn't bother me, opinions are opinions and we think ours is always right. But is it true? Even some Pokémon fans say the same about the games they love. They're easy, clearly for children, they can't be made for an adult. Anyone can say that. Is it true? Are we just incredibly passionate about a franchise geared towards kids? Well, yes and no. If we look at the Pokémon Anime, we can easily say that its target audience are kids. I went on about this quite some time ago on a different video, and I do think that it still stands. If you think about what brought you into Pokémon in the first place, I think that a large part of you would say the anime. It was what brought me here. And if I ask you what age you were when that click happened, you're probably gonna answer with some low number, right? That's their goal and it worked. I don't like watching the anime, I feel like I grew out of it, but it will always keep bringing more and more youngsters into the franchise, keeping it alive for years to come. So yeah, is the Pokémon anime for kids? Yes it is. Does that mean they don't care about the rest of us? No, because they gave us series with darker tones and with a more raw emotion to them in Pokémon Evolutions, Pokémon Generations and Twilight Wings, even in the mini-series Pokémon Origins. It isn't their top priority, but they were clearly made for their more adult audience. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you shouldn't like the main anime if you're older or the darker series if you're younger. I'm just saying that their target was different for both of them. But the important part here is the games. The games are easy, the stories are simple, and I don't know, the experience share is always on, something like that. They are clearly made for kids, right? Well, yes. And once again, no. The gameplay in the Pokémon game was always easy to get into. That's one of the reasons Pokémon as a game always had more success than other turn-based RPGs. The battle system is so easy to understand that even the whole type advantage chart just comes to you with a few battles. And a lot of them are just intuitive. Fire beats grass, water beats fire, grass beats water, then you'll understand them all little by little. The text is there, even if I just listened to the sounds when I was younger. And while we can say that the battles were harder before, I wouldn't say that was the case because of the need for strategy, I'd say that was the case because of the need for grinding. The AI in Pokémon games was always a mess, with only level caps and the type advantage being a problem in most situations. But fix those two things, with grinding and a new Pokémon that resists or hits hard on an enemy, and you're good. The only strategy was leveling and catching something. The games were never really hard, they were grindy, and in trying to fix the grind, they ended up making it even easier. Now, are they getting easier because they are made for children? Well, I don't think that's fully the case. I think that it's just like Masuda said when he was asked about the difficulty change in Auras compared to Ruby and Sapphire. He said, and I quote, "We created a balanced game that was suited for our time and age, where everyone is very busy and young people have various means of entertainment. Using smartphones and other devices, they can access a great number of games, so the time they dedicate to a single game is less than in the past. And if they don't try to get those younger fans, their fan base will eventually be gone. They were very lucky that their games came out when they came. It was the start of a whole technological revolution that those kids grew up in. The things I see today were not even believed to be possible when I was younger, but that quickly changed, and I was living it, and my generation was living it. It was easier to have access to games and time to play games, and so we just kept on catching them all. But now, there's just so much more competition for the attention of people. Does that mean that the games are for the youngster Joeys out there? I'd say that the gameplay, yes, it has always been. But what about the rest? We want things that are more difficult, we create all kinds of crazy Nuzlocke challenges and whatever else. But in the end, are Pokémon games just the gameplay? For some, yeah, and that's fine, but for others like me, there's so much more to them. The story was never the strong part of a Pokémon game, save for a few generations. But we can't deny the amount of lore, even if it's messy, that we find in the Pokémon games. Especially on the Pokédex. We have stories about kidnapping, solitary death with an agonizing afterlife, stories of murder, and this is mostly just the ghost types. You can find all kinds of crazy things in the Pokédex. And yeah, the story was never the strong part, but look at it. We're dealing with monsters that are illegally trafficking Pokémon parts, people trying to end the universe or simply end all that's not beautiful. Ghetsis literally tries to murder you with a dragon. We have a world completely devoured by a giant monster that eats everything, including people. people. Remember Lance? That time we got into the Rage Candy Bar in Maugani? He orders this Dragonite, a monstrosity of a Pokemon, powerful as all can be, to Hyper Beam a man. If you're a young kid that watches the anime, you'll imagine it in a very different way. You see that happening all the time there. The man will just say that he's blasting off and show up again. If you know about the Pokédex entries, or if you ever laid your eyes in the Pokemon manga, you'll probably think that man is gone. That Dragonite ended the man right there. Those things were always present in the games for us, but most young children will not really process all of it. But the older ones will find the stories in Pokemon, will find the crumbles of the crazy lore that are there, even if hidden in the Pokédex. And they're not left there for children to read and talk about, they're there for those who will look for those stories, read them, and change how they perceive the world they grew up loving. And now we have Pokemon Legends Arceus, a game where you can actually see things happening. Pokemon attack you and you have to run away from them. This last teaser felt like the trailer for a horror movie or game. Someone being attacked in the mountains? We would read about something like that in the Pokédex, but never really be shown any footage of it. You can hear the scream, the deafening silence that follows, and the eerie footsteps that cut through it. A Pokemon just attacked someone and left them there, in the cold. The stories are coming to life in a game where you actually play through them, and imagination plays less of a role than it did in the games before. So, is Pokemon for children? Yes and no. Pokemon is for everybody, but it's also a business, and a business like that runs on nostalgia, and nostalgia can be created anywhere and anytime. So that's it for the video, and I don't really have any questions for you, but I do like to ask one every time. So what was the first Pokemon game you ever played? Mine was Pokemon Red on a friend's Game Boy in the school playground during recess. I was hooked right there and then. Let me know yours in the comments down below. And now, like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content. Also ring that bell so you know when the next video is out. You can follow me on social media, Twitch, we stream there Thursday to Sunday, and join our Discord, all the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.